This is the second time that we've used Peter as our real estate agent. Several years ago, Peter sold our house on the North Shore in Chatswood, and at that time it was quite a difficult house to sell. It hadn't sold previously at auction, and we brought Peter in because we'd heard about him and his reputation, and in fact it also had about 5 to 10% plaster in it, this particular house, and Peter went the extra mile and had various campaigns to look at how we might show that this particular house was watertight and that the plaster didn't affect it, and in fact it wasn't a plaster home, and that worked well. So when we came to market this place, even though we had the opportunity to have other agents, it was a natural choice for us to have someone we trusted like Peter, and we're very pleased that we did. Both houses have been excellent selling them with Peter. This particular house was a short sale. We're going down to the South Island, so we wanted something quite quickly. And throughout that whole time, Peter went through the campaign and the strategy that we would use, and really a market that is now slowing. Even though it was only a 3-week marketing campaign, followed by the auction, I heard from Peter probably every day, just to keep me up to date with what was happening, anyone who was interested, what was happening in terms of the marketing campaign with the website hits on Trade Me and Harcourts and one or two other places. So I thought the communication was excellent. Peter also came up here on a number of evenings to talk with Corrine and myself and just keep us right up to date where the market was, what was happening with our house, and his thoughts for the near future. On auction day there was an open home initially for the half hour before the auction. That morning we'd met with Peter and Andrew North, the Harcourts auctioneer, and interestingly enough Andrew sold our last house as well, so we really have confidence in that auction partnership as well. We went right through everything, sorted out a reserve price, talked about various things with the auction. The open home, we had quite a lot of people looking through, and in fact there were probably about 20 people here for the auction, which I think given the current climate was a very good outcome. At that stage with the auction, Andrew started it off and gave a rundown of the whole property. Both he and Peter had talked to all the people beforehand, so we had an idea who was bidding, and we knew there would be a couple of bidders. And the process went from there, and it was one of those, as you can understand, an auction is a very tense thing, and went to and fro, but in the end the house sold. And I think there were some very pleased buyers, and we were very pleased as sellers. It was a slowing market, and I think that was one of the key things. In the last house we had a strategy where Peter actually needed to show that we didn't have a plaster house, and the 5 to 10% that was plaster after renovations was actually watertight. And Peter did that by getting a thermal survey and making things really easy for buyers to understand, and that house sold, and we were delighted. With this house the strategy was different. The market in the last 6 months has really cooled, and auctions are not always selling, but we still felt confident in that process. The interesting thing, I understand that here in Millwater at the moment the average time for selling a house is 77 days, and I've even known some that have taken 6 or 7 months. So ours needed to be a short-term marketing campaign followed by an auction, and I really enjoyed a short, sharp process where you were fully informed all the time and that you had a good chance of an excellent result at the end. I like the fact that we know Peter well, we've worked with him several times, we trust him implicitly. We had absolute full confidence in him and his marketing strategy and the way he prepares and sells houses, and we had immense confidence in Andrew North as the auctioneer, and that proved to be correct. So we liked the fact that it was short, sharp, and really had a great result for us. Millwater had a lot of houses that were for sale, and they still have, just to show that ours stood out a little bit. It was a unique design, and to market it in as many places as possible so that when people did a search for Millwater, our house came up. Really one of the first searches, and we did have a lot of people through. So I think, yes, we're really happy with the result, very much so. I think Peter under-promises and over-delivers, and it's just something that we've got used to. He will never soft soak it for you and tell you that yes, everyone's going to be delighted and you're in, but what he will tell you is the facts. This is what's happening, this is the market, this is what I think you should do, these are the people I've got to help, and that works really well for us. So I would recommend Peter incredibly highly. In fact, he would be the #1 person I would go to every time.